Hello.
Then. Now.
Countdown to the queens.
Episode number 500.
Forever.
Looks like hell froze over.
Without any more further ado,
Together.
let's jump straight into the show. Hello, welcome to episode number 74 of the TEW IX Challenge Run. We're here for ECW for Tuesday, November 26th, 2024. Fresh off the heels of Survivor Series, where we saw Bloodline Civil War games in the main event. And yeah, The Rock, he stuck the knife in Roman Reigns' back, and we were going to hear from him to kick off tonight's show, along with the rest of the Bloodline. And yeah, tonight we have a ECW Television Championship main event, which is Kyle O'Reilly defending against Austin Theory. Plus, we have the Wyatt 7 in 8-man tag team action against the Paragon, and a whole lot more. We also crowned a new ECW Women's Champion at Survivor Series. Ruby Riott defeated Florence. There was some Blair Davenport-based chicanery in that match. And yeah, so without any more further ado, let's jump straight into the show. We start the show with a promo segment. You know, it has been a long time coming, but standing in the ring by herself to kick off the show is Ava Raine, who, you know, quit SmackDown a couple of weeks ago. She said she didn't need friends. That was the quote from her. She's got a microphone in the ring. She's in a suit, you know, dressed like she dresses as the GM, basically. If not, maybe a little bit more, like a proper suit jacket. She says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ECW. My name is Ava Raine, and from now on, I'll be calling ECW my home." Now, ECW saw the rightful main event of Survivor Series last weekend, with the Bloodline faced off against the old Bloodline inside War Games. And on that night, the better team came out on top. That being the one and true Bloodline. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and privilege to stand here in this ring and introduce you all to this man, the final boss, the High Chief, the most powerful man in sports entertainment and in the Samoan wrestling dynasty, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Out comes The Rock. You know, Solo, the Tongan, stood behind him. The Rock, he coming out. He's got his Versace vest on. He gets into the ring. Yeah. He like hugs his daughter. He takes the microphone off her. And he goes, "Finally, The Rock has come back to Los Angeles." And The Rock is standing in an ECW ring. Now I know what you're thinking. You've all got some same questions. Rocky, why did you stick the knife in the back of Roman Reigns on Saturday night? Why did you decide you wanted to be on Roman Reigns' War Games team if you were going to do is stick him in the dirt? Rocky, why did you come in here last minute and take that opportunity away from Joe Hendry? Well, here's the issue, and quite frankly, nobody in this crowd is smart enough to understand this, because I've been leaving breadcrumbs right under all of your noses, and none of you picked up on them. WrestleMania 40 was a bad time in my career. The final boss was screwed out of his People's Championship by Stone Cold Steve Austin and that loser LA Knight. But we'll let him have his fun, because The Rock, he's got more important things on his mind right now. On that night at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia earlier this year, Roman Reigns, the head of the table, the tribal chief, went to war against two of his cousins, Jimmy and Jey Uso. Now, 3 years ago, in Dallas, The Rock, he went one-on-one with Roman Reigns in a dream match, a match we never thought we'd see. A match not only to be the WWE Champion, but to be the head of the Samoan wrestling dynasty, the head of the Anoa'i family. And on that night, Roman Reigns defeated The Rock. And on that night, I had no choice but to let Roman Reigns move on as the tribal chief, as the head of the table, representing my family. Because, quite frankly, if he beat The Rock in the main event at WrestleMania, he deserved it. But I sit back here 2 years later, and what's Roman Reigns doing? He loses the championship to one of Rikishi's boys. A tag team guy, a twin. This is the guy they had running around here as the head of the Samoan wrestling dynasty in this company. And backstage at WrestleMania 40, I made my decision that night that I'd had enough of Roman Reigns, that Roman Reigns had used all his goodwill up by letting Jey Uso walk around here thinking he was the top guy. Our family not being represented by a guy who walks around here in sunglasses and says yeet. So what did The Rock do? The Rock decided he was going to make the Bloodline's life a living hell. The Rock decided that ECW wasn't going to be run by the wise man, Paul Heyman, because he'd run this carny bullshit show into the ground. We needed to get a new, fresh face to run ECW. But more importantly, we needed somebody who was going to kill ECW. So who did The Rock find? The Rock found Vince Russo. The Rock used his power as being a member of the WWE and TKO board to anoint Vince Russo the temporary ECW general manager. We were all on the verge of killing this place. What else did The Rock do? The Rock went and found two other men in Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, the ECW Tag Team Championship. Two men who have been far too dangerous for WWE for a long-ass time. Sons of one of the baddest son of a bitches in the history of professional wrestling, the King Haku. And The Rock brought them here with two purposes: to try and ensure Vince Russo's demise of Paul Heyman's crappy wrestling program, and to get Rikishi's one good son, who we're all proud of, Solo, on our side, to rip him away from the fake-ass loser tribal chief that he'd been associating with and get him back in with The Rock's family. And things at SummerSlam, they didn't go The Rock's way. But it's fine, because that's when I knew I had to do things myself. That's when I went to found this big-ass son of a bitch, Tala Tonga, the most dangerous of all of King Haku's sons. 7 feet of domination. And this guy was going to be our lethal weapon. But all I needed was a way to slide The Rock back in there. All The Rock needed was an opportunity to get to Roman Reigns and make him pay for being a loser. And that's when I received a phone call from Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns rang me up and he said, "Dwayne, there's a spot in War Games. We need you." And The Rock, he accepted that phone call. He put the phone down. He sat back on his plane. He put his feet up. He drank that Terramana. And he just smiled. Because The Rock knew that this was finally once again all going his way. The Rock knew, quite frankly, that teaming up with Roman Reigns, anybody else should have seen it coming. What was happening at Survivor Series. But The Rock knew Roman Reigns would never see it coming. And you know why The Rock knew Roman Reigns would never see it coming. Because you look at Jimmy. You look at Jay. You look at Jacob Fatu. These men, they came back to Roman Reigns' side and they fought by his side. So in Roman Reigns' egotistical mind, of course The Rock's going to do the same thing. He's going to fall back in line and just fight by my side, despite the fact that I'm still the same entitled little bitch I was 2 years ago. That ain't how it happened now, is it, boy? You learned your lesson the hard way. You got embarrassed by The Rock at Survivor Series. And now, The Rock is back. The Rock is the face of this new bloodline. And The Rock is the most powerful man in all of WWE. It's not Paul Levesque. It's not Paul Heyman. It's not CM Punk. It's me. Now, so here's what The Rock's gonna do. Okay, Roman Reigns and the Usos, they're not here tonight. You know, they're taking the week off, licking their wounds after getting embarrassed by The Rock and Co. in War Games. So tonight, you're not going to see anything from your so-called tribal chief. In fact, we're not even going to say his name.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry.
Joe Hendry comes out. He interrupts The Rock. And Joe goes, Rocky, I can call you Rocky, right, Dwayne? Well, you said my name and here I am. And The Rock's like, who in the blue hell do you think you are, Hendry? You know, I saw your stupid little song here weeks ago when you were trying to nestle up to the bloodline looking for a big day. Sorry The Rock had to take your spot, kid. It happens a lot. You get used to it. And Joe Hendry just laughs. He goes, I tried telling my Usos heading into Survivor Series that Roman Reigns was, you know, he was a little bit not to be trusted. And he let you in like a Trojan horse instead of, you know, his real Uso cousin like me. And now here you are, the same man, Dwayne. Now Roman might not be here. Jimmy and Jay, they may not be here, but I'm here. And I'm not going to let you disrespect my family like that. And The Rock's all laughs and he goes, look at you, boy. By yourself. Biting off more than you can chew. So here's what The Rock's going to tell your ass to do. Go straight to the back there. Sit in catering. And sit in the back of there like the rest of the mid-carders. I'll let The Rock and his family handle business out here, okay? And Joe Hendry goes, loyalty goes a long way in this business, Dwayne. You've sure got it with a couple of people, a couple of higher-ups I had to nestle up to. But I believe in just 3 weeks I've proven to be more of a real Uso than you ever were. I'm not saying Roman Reigns deserves to walk around here calling himself the tribal chief or the head of the Samoan family legacy. But it damn sure isn't you or Solo either. Now I'll be a good little employee, Dwayne. I'll make my way to the back, but trust me when I say this, you haven't seen the last of this Scottish Uso. And he just leaves and goes to the back. But yeah, The Rock, laying it all down on the line. He's been pulling the strings this entire time. You know, remember that high-powered member of the TKO board that Vince Russo kept saying anointed him? And then 2 members of the bloodline joined and were Vince Russo's lackeys. Yeah, there you go. That was all because of one man. This one man. The one man. Big Dwayne. And Ava's here now. Look, huh? We then go to adverts after that. We cut back and Paul Heyman is looking stressed backstage trying to call Roman Reigns, but he doesn't pick up. He goes, oh my god, Roman Reigns, pick up. And Ava approaches him and goes, hey Paul. He goes, can I help you? He goes, no, actually, that's sort of the question I'm supposed to be asking you. Can I help you with anything, Paul? And he looks confused. He goes, what are you talking about? He goes, well, you see, don't know if you just heard out there, but big man Dwayne Johnson, he's sort of pulling things around here on ECW, and he's anointed me your assistant general manager here on ECW going forward. He goes, I don't need an assistant general manager. And Ava goes, well, it's kind of hard balancing struggles with the bloodline and, you know, managing every day-to-day task of ECW, right? Heyman goes, I mean, it can get overwhelming, but, it's my child, it's my baby. I wouldn't dare let anybody else run ECW. And he goes, yeah, well, you answer to the final boss now. And if you answer to the final boss, you answer to me. Take care. And she walks off. 76. I'll take that, considering, most members of the White Seven aren't that over. But, yeah, the White Seven do pick up the win. I went back and forth on who was going to win this, because, obviously the Paragon, I don't particularly want to lose too many matches, because they're, getting reinvented. And then you got the White Seven, who are the White Seven. I don't want them to lose too often. It annoyed me in real life. They beat the fuck out of American Made, but then they were allowed to lose to the Final Testament, but they weren't allowed to lose to American Made. But yeah, Uncle Howdy pinned Cesaro with the Sister Abigail. I gotta change his fucking finisher because he keeps using the Bulldog. Cesaro felt like the most pinnable man here, I guess, because Dolph Ziggler is the leader, and the Fritzes are, one of the top tag teams on the brand. 80 for Cesaro, 76 for Kevin, 74 for David, 73 for Ziggler, 51 for Rowan, 53 for Preston Vance, 63 for Kip Sabian, and a 60 for Uncle Howdy. So yeah, nice win for them. They're getting the victory over the Paragon. Then get a quick backstage interview. Kelly Kincaid is with Warden. And she says, Warden, the ECW World Champion, you were a part of the victorious team at War Games last Saturday night at Survivor Series. What are your thoughts coming out of that match? Warden says, my rivalry with this family. It's been almost a year now. And it was so great at Survivor Series to finally be able to put Roman Reigns down. Or so I thought. Because I put my differences aside. I teamed with Solo Sikoa and his bloodline because they were the lesser of two evils to me. But I told Solo his time was coming. But do I feel satisfied with the way everything went down, with The Rock sticking his nose in another member of that damn family sticking his nose in my business? I wasn't happy with that. But as far as I'm concerned, stuff between me and that family is over, and I'm continuing on as the ECW World Champion. So next challenger needs to step up. Who will it be? I don't know who it will be, but there's a lot of good potential contenders here, Kelly. Says, well, actually, I do have an update on your next challenger. Because next week on ECW, we're going to do an 8-man gauntlet match. And whoever wins that gauntlet match will challenge you for the ECW World Championship at Saturday night's main event. Warden just smiles and goes, great. Can't wait to see who it is. Then go back to the ring. The ECW Women's Champion, Ruby Riott, is in the ring. She says, ladies and gentlemen, you are looking at the new ECW Women's Champion. Now, Florence, she was a great champion. She was a fighting champion, the kind of champion that all the little girls in the crowd look up to and think, man, she's a badass. I want to be just like her. But you can only do so much when you've got that nagging thought in your brain of, will my friend show up and turn on me? Or Ruby Riott, she's so smart and so much better than I am. And now, after almost 7 years here in WWE, I finally got my hands on a singles championship. Am I proud of how I got here? A little bit. I'll be lying if I said I wasn't. But I am a team player. And I cannot stand here and take credit for all of my success because there's a very, 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 very important little person who helped me get this championship gold. So come on out, Blair Davenport. Out she comes. And Blair goes, yeah, Ruby, great speech. Congratulations on being the champion. But, you remember what we said at Survivor Series, right? Ruby goes, of course. I can never forget such an important conversation with such an important person like you. Blair goes, yeah. Listen here. While what I did to my former friend Florence was justified in its own way, outside of you called me into that locker room and you told me that if I helped you become ECW Women's Champion, that I'd get the next shot at the championship. You said that. Those were your words, Ruby. Ruby goes, yeah, and I meant every single word of it. Why? He goes, well, last time I checked, I didn't see Florence here tonight. So, if you want to be a real fighting champion, you'd stick to your words, and you'd defend that championship against me at Saturday night's main event. Ruby goes, yeah, I would, wouldn't I? Blake goes, great. So we're going to do it? Ruby goes, you know, I hate to be the person who goes back on their words. Especially after someone who's been so useful as you have and so friendly to me and willing to listen to everything I've got to say. I can't just go back on my word, but Blair, here's the thing. You sort of haven't been winning. You lost to Sasha Banks. Hell, you lost to Florence. Why should you get a championship match? Okay? You went to your own home country. Your best friend at the time picked you out and put you in that ring because she wanted to embarrass you in front of your home country family. And you still lost. I don't see the heart of a champion inside you, and sure, I may have promised you a championship opportunity. But, Blair, I'm doing this for your own good. I don't want to put you on pay-per-view again and have you lose again, because then people who will only tune in for the pay-per-views, they'll think you're a loser. And they'll say, why does this girl keep getting title shot after title shot after title shot? So, I know I promised you a change of opportunity, but that now comes with a caveat where if you can prove you deserve one, then I'll give it to you. Blake goes, oh, piss off, Ruby. Like, bitch, I do win. I beat you to get that shot in Auckland. You don't think I see what you do around here, And don't get me wrong, you're good at it because, what you did broke up my friendship of nearly 10 years. But you get into our heads and you try and twist them into making us feel like we're in the wrong when you're just a manipulator. And as much as I'm glad that Florence may not have the championship anymore, I still want it, and I'll take it from you, and I don't care how anybody else looks at me, because I know I'm ready for it, okay? And you promised me that opportunity, and if you take back that promise, I'll just make sure I get a championship opportunity. In fact, I'm going to win a match right now. Because, great, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted you to start winning, Blair, because you deserve it, Prove that you belong here, and then you can get a shot. Blake goes, yeah. Bring out an opponent for me. That match is against Naomi. Gets an 80, and Ruby Riott distracts Blair Davenport during the match, and Naomi pins her with a split-legged moonsault off of it. Well, obviously not off of it because Naomi's not a heel, but she does end up winning the match after. If Ruby gets involved, it screws Blair Davenport. And then after the match, as Naomi's celebrating her win, you see Blair in the corner of the ring just glare across at Ruby. Ruby's there at ringside oh, see that? She's pointing at Naomi. She's like, that's a winner. Okay. That's the sort of woman I want to defend my championship against. Next week, I'm going to defend my championship against her because she won tonight, Blair. She won. You didn't. Blair obviously just glaring a hole through her. We then cut backstage. Dolph Ziggler was a little angry as fuck about the loss. It was really, this Paragon, this new Paragon, my Paragon was supposed to be better than that other crap Adam Cole ran around here. Okay, Swiss, Cesaro steps in and he goes, "What are you doing out there taking a loss to a guy in a Halloween mask, huh? That's not Paragon business, okay? The Fritz brothers, they won their match last week. Or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. You let us down tonight." Cesaro goes, "Look, it's not my fault, okay? Those White Seven, they're a tough group." Ziggler goes, "Yeah, but now we look like losers, Swiss. Adam Cole kept losing, and where's he at now? Nowhere to be seen. You're actually his hand-picked man. His hand-picked associate, his hand-picked hitman. The reason I'm even in this group is because of you. And that can be the reason you get taken out if you don't buck your ideas up. Now anyway, enough about you. Let's talk about me." And then when he says that, all the people in the background are just like, "Huh?" Because obviously, you know, they're supposed to be a group. And he goes, "Next week we have this gauntlet match. 8 men competing to determine who will be the number 1 contender for Warden's World Championship at Saturday night's main event. And it's gonna be me. It has to be me. Which is why I'm in that match. I don't care who I've got to step on, which members of the bloodline, or anything I've got to step on. I'm in that match. And I'm gonna win it." Then cut backstage. Sasha's trying to get on the phone to Kiana James, and she can't. And then eventually Kiana does pick up. She goes, "Hello?" Sasha goes, "Kiana, where the hell are you? You know, I got Kim here, got Indy. Where you at?" And Kiana goes, "I'm actually, I'm not going to be able to make it to ECW tonight." Sasha goes, "What? What could you have on that's possibly so much more important than showing up by my side here tonight?" And then we see someone walk in off screen, and Sasha, like, hangs up. And it's Brandi. He goes, "Well, Sasha, looking for somebody else?" She goes, "No." He goes, "Well, you know, I heard and saw that you had a very special connection and relationship with the woman who stood in my absence, that being Miss Kiana James. Now, obviously, I'm not a wrestler, so the attack that Kiana seemingly set up on Next Gen on me took me out of commission for a long-ass time. Okay, so Sasha, if you want a good, strong relationship with the head of the women's division here in WWE, I'm willing to keep that up for you. So here's what's happened, okay? So obviously you know Next Gen. They're the women who took me out of commission for all that time, right?" And Sasha's like, "Yeah." "So, I heard there was this whole quest for the next greatest tag team on ECW thing in the women's division. And the girls from Next Gen have actually been begging to come to ECW. So, what I did was, I've signed them to ECW." Like, "You've what?" Because not only have I signed them to ECW, I actually need you two, pointing to Kim and Indy, to go out there later on tonight and teach them a lesson for me, you know, for what they did to me all those months ago. Okay? So, this is a great relationship after a great start, right?" And she walks off and leaves, and Sasha's just angry. Like, "What do you mean she signed? We're supposed to be here, we're supposed to get away from them." Six-rated tag match. This is a short match because, in Bloodline fashion, this is a 2-hour show. The Rock cut like a 20-minute opening promo, so we had to cut some time off some matches. This only goes 5 minutes. But Ray and Pistolero pick up their first win as a tag team. Pistolero pinning Curt Hawkins with a Revolution Fly in 4:54. 51 for both Hawkins and Cardona. 81 for Pistolero. 67 for Ray. Sure. Yeah. Whatever. Then get another video package. It's from the House of Black. Kelsey Cook, you know, she's seen walking into, like, a spooky black room. And she's like, "I'm home." Let me see Alistair, Brody, and Ciampa, like, all walk into frame and give her a hug. Alistair goes, "We've been so proud of watching your growth. It's been too long since we were out here. But now, it's time for us to get back out there. You've made us proud. Now it's time for us to make you proud." because the house, Kelsey, and she's like, always wins. And then they all walk out together of their spooky room. We then see Warden backstage when The Rock approaches him. He goes, look who it is. Big boy. I have to say, I heard all about you, kid. I heard Solo and the others tell me that you were going to be on our team in Survivor Series. And I originally was thought, what's a guy who's not in our family doing on our side in Bloodline War Games? But I understand your despair for the Bloodline, your despair for Roman Reigns and the Usos. You were a great fit, and you did a fantastic job on Saturday night. And Warren goes, well, thanks, Rock. He goes, now listen, here's the thing. I did hear what you said to Solo Sikoa the other week. How you said he was going to get his and you were going to sort out your issues with him at some point in time. Well, here's what's going to happen, boy. Next week, Solo is going to be in this gauntlet match to win a shot at that championship. And when he wins, it's going to be you versus him at Saturday night's main event. And may the best man win that night, Warden. Because if you win, I'll acknowledge you as the ECW World Champion. But if Solo wins, then I'll acknowledge him as the most powerful member of the Samoan wrestling dynasty right now. Watch your back, boy. We were allies last weekend. But if you keep running your mouth around here, who knows how quickly that can spin on its head. And he walks off, and Warden just sort of just stares off at him as he walks away. 70 rated tag match. That's actually better than I thought it would be for, what it is and where it is. But yeah, next gen, they requested a move to ECW. When Kiana James was running things in the women's division, obviously she denied it. But they then, obviously, when Brandy came back, they've gone, hey, can you send us over there? And she did it. So they're here. And Next Gen have defeated Indy Hartwell and Kim McQueen in 6 minutes and 6. Nene pinning Indy Hartwell with a winning kick. 70 for Kim, 58 for Indy, 70 for Nene, and a 67 for Tracy Sharrow. So yeah, not too bad. After the match, though, they're celebrating, and Kathy Cool grabs the mic. Sasha's at ringside, looking shocked, back retreating up the ramp with Kim and Indy. She goes, Sasha! Surprise! One bad thing, well, there's many bad things, but one of the worst things about CEOs is they like to get complacent and comfortable with their power. They cushion up to the right people, they make friends with authority who make sure they watch their back. But what happens when all that power disappears? What happens when you're no longer in the in crowd? This is what happens, Sasha. Because it's time for your reign of tyranny over this division to come to an end. And in a different world, things could have gone different between us. But now it's time for our generation to usurp yours. Next week, we do have 2 matches set for next week. The first being the 8-man gauntlet match. We do know 2 of the competitors in the match, those being Dolph Ziggler and Solo Sikoa will both be a part of the match, along with 6 others to crown the number 1 contender for Womens Championship at Saturday night's main event. Plus, following her victory over Blair Davenport earlier tonight via some chicanery involving Ruby Riott, Naomi will get a shot at the ECW Women's World Championship next week when she faces Ruby Riott one-on-one here on ECW. So yeah, a big show, a big championship match, and a match with big world championship implications coming up next week. And speaking of championship matches, The God and Kyle O'Reilly, The God and Austin Theory go 17-29. Kevin Owens is out there, supporting The God. And he does pick up the win. He pins Austin Theory with the Brainbuster to make defense number 5 of the television championship. 78 for Kyle O'Reilly, 74 for Austin Theory. Yeah, sort of a lower rating on what's happened to The God. Is he unhappy? Is he declining? He's Now, he's got physical condition. Okay, so he's not declining. He's just a little bit off right now. Okay, because I expect better from you, buddy. You know, come on. Moose is breathing down your neck. He can't be the only god on this show. But yes, after the match, you know, Kyle O'Reilly's in the ring. He celebrates with the championship. Kevin Owens gets into the ring. He raises Kyle O'Reilly's arm to end the show. Gets out of the ring. But this time, Kevin Owens does slam Kyle O'Reilly against the mat on the outside. And he does finally deliver that apron powerbomb to the god on the outside of the ring. He picks up that television championship. He goes, "This should be mine, huh? You know this should be mine. And I'm coming to take it. I'm done playing nice. Now it's time to take what's mine. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to win championships. I'm a prize fighter. And you have a prize I want, Kyle." Tosses the belt down the floor. Kyle O'Reilly obviously being checked on by doctors. And yeah, Kevin Owens has finally snapped. He's dropped the god on his ass. And that's how we end the show. 79-minute show? Sure, yeah. I mean, there was a Rock promo that carried most of the show, but from an in-ring perspective, it wasn't too hot, but there was a couple of big angles on here I did really enjoy. But what matters more is what you thought of the show. Do leave me what you thought in the comments below. And I'll see you next time for SmackDown, coming off their big Survivor Series. Queen Alpha winning War Games. And yeah, a whole lot more. See you then.